On a live taping of Real Time with Bill Maher, Meghan Markle sits down believing she can finally control the narrative about her life, her marriage, and the monarchy she walked away from. But as Bill pushes past her polished answers into the cracks she works so hard to hide, a carefully choreographed interview mutates into psychological warfare in front of millions. By the time the cameras cut, no one is sure who just destroyed whom.
Meghan, welcome. Bill doesn't waste time.
No montage, no soft music, no sentimental build-up. Just his trademark half-smirk and the live audience roaring with curiosity before settling into a low, electric hush. Meghan adjusts the cuff of her cream blazer, that perfectly curated off-duty royalty look. She smiles warm, trained, deliberate.
Thank you, Bill. It's interesting to be here.
The word interesting lands like a coded warning. Bill leans back in his chair, crossing one leg casually over the other.
So let's start simple, he says. You walked away from palaces, titles, literal crowns on plates, and now you're on my show in LA. Was it worth it?
Meghan laughs softly, but her fingers lace together a little too tightly.
I didn't walk away from crowns, Bill. I walked away from being a symbol other people could twist. My life now is mine. My family's. Not an institution's.
That's worth everything. The audience gives a respectful round of applause.
Not wild, not timid. Testing the waters. Bill nods.
Sure. Autonomy, freedom, the California dream. Sunshine, smoothie bowls, podcasts. His smile sharpens.
But there's an argument that says you didn't really walk away. You just brought the palace drama with you and put better lighting on it.
A small, quick tension flickers over her face, gone almost before the cameras can catch it.
Almost.
I told my story because it was mine, she replies.
Because silence doesn't protect you, it protects the people who hurt you. If that makes some people uncomfortable, that's not my burden to carry.
Bill tilts his head.
But you didn't just tell it. You streamed it. Sold it. Packaged it. Netflix, books, interviews, podcasts. You say you walked away from being a symbol, but don't you think you've just rebranded the symbol? A murmur flows through the audience. This is what they came for. Not the Instagram version. The collision. Meghan's smile tightens. I became a symbol the moment I walked into that family, whether I wanted to or not. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm just telling the truth. Your truth, Bill corrects, gently. Truth doesn't need an adjective, she fires back. It either happened or it didn't.
For a moment, the air sharpens. The crew knows that tone. The line where friendly talk becomes something else. Bill lifts a card from the table, taps it lightly.
Okay. Let's talk about what happened then.
He glances down, but his eyes are already back on her before he finishes the sentence. You said again and again that the press destroyed your peace, twisted your words, invaded your privacy.
Totally fair criticism. But you also keep going back in front of cameras. Back to interviews. Back to shows like this. Does any part of you wonder if you're feeding the same beast you say almost killed you? Her jaw tenses, just slightly.
She keeps her voice soft. That softness is part of the armor. When you've been silenced long enough, she says, simply speaking feels like rebellion.
I'm not feeding a beast. I'm reclaiming a narrative that was stolen from me. Bill nods slowly.
Or, he says, you're learning to control the beast.
Give it just enough to keep it hungry for you. The audience reacts, half laugh, half hiss. Meghan's eyes flash. Is that what you think I'm doing? She asks.
I think, Bill says, leaning forward, that you're one of the most media-trained people alive. And I think you know exactly how every sentence you say will play on TikTok and in tomorrow's headlines.
She holds his gaze. A long beat. Is that a crime now?
Not at all, Bill replies.
It's just not the same thing as being helpless, is it?
There it is. The first real crack. The audience feels it like a change in air pressure. Meghan's shoulders stay straight, but her voice dips colder.
Helpless, she repeats.
Bill, with respect, you have no idea what it's like to have an entire machine built around dissecting your existence. You get criticized for your opinions. I was hated for breathing in the wrong direction. Bill spreads his hands.
And yet here we are. You, sitting under lights again. Me, asking the questions again. So let me ask you this, if the machine stopped caring tomorrow, would you know who you were without it?
The room goes quiet.
Meghan's lashes lower for half a second, as if she felt that one in her chest. She recovers fast.
I know exactly who I am without it, she says.
A wife. A mother.
A woman who refused to be broken. And a brand, Bill adds, almost gently.
We can't skip that part.
The second wave of tension rolls through the studio.
They're only 10 minutes in.
Meghan shifts in her chair.
Everyone is a brand now, she says. You. This show. The coffee you drink.
The difference is, when women curate their image, they get called manipulative.
When men do it, it's just smart business. The audience claps. Loud this time.
Bill lets the sound ride a moment, nodding, even smiling. He knows when she's scored a point.
He also knows when to take it back. Fair, he concedes.
But there's another difference.
I don't call the press toxic and then invite Netflix into my therapy sessions. The laughter is sharp and uncomfortable. Meghan's mouth opens, closes. This isn't a therapy session, she says quietly. This is my life.
And your livelihood, Bill counters.
You've said you had to protect your family, your kids, your mental health. Completely understandable. But what if you just hear me out? What if sometimes the person putting you back in the line of fire is you?
Her eyes narrow. This time, she doesn't dodge.
You think I enjoy this? She asks.
You think I enjoy sitting here while people dissect my motives, my marriage, my motherhood?
You know why I'm here, Bill? Because if I don't speak, they speak for me.
And they never stop. The audience hums with a low sympathy. For a fleeting moment, she has them. You can feel it, that collective sliding toward her side. That's when Bill drops the first match.
He lifts another card. Doesn't look at it.
His gaze stays locked on her. You told our producers something before the show, he says.
Off camera.
You said, if this goes wrong, I'll just turn it into more proof that the media is obsessed with tearing me down.
The studio freezes. Meghan's smile dies mid-breath.
I didn't say that, she replies slowly.
Bill doesn't blink. You did. We have it on the pre-interview footage. Want us to roll it?
A low, stunned murmur rises from the rows of seats.
Meghan's throat tightens. For a second, something raw flashes across her face, fear, or anger, or both.
Those are private conversations, she says, her voice suddenly hoarse around the edges.
You know that.
Bill shrugs.
You said you're not helpless anymore.
That you're in control. I'm just showing the audience how deep that control goes. She stares at him.
The mask slips another millimeter.
So this is the game, she says.
Set me up, then expose me.
Prove that the actress is still acting. He folds his hands.
Is it a setup if you said it? That line lands like a slap. The audience isn't laughing now. They're silent, on the edge of their seats, listening to two people negotiate who's really holding the knife. Meghan leans forward, elbows on her knees.
The soft, carefully composed Duchess is gone.
What's left is a woman with tired eyes and clenched teeth. You want the truth, Bill? She asks. Fine. I plan for worst-case scenarios. Every interview. Every appearance. Because I've learned that no matter what I say, it will be twisted. So yes, if this goes wrong, I'll survive. I'll turn it into something I can use. Because that's what people like me have to do. We don't get the luxury of mistakes. We only get evidence.
He studies her. For the first time, there's something like respect in his expression, or maybe just recognition. That's the most honest thing you've said all night, he murmurs. She exhales, tension pulsing visibly through her shoulders. The room loosens just a fraction. For a moment, it feels like they might turn this ship around. Then he asks the one question no one was supposed to touch. If your kids watch this interview one day, he says quietly, do you think they'll see a mother who protected them, or a mother who turned every wound into content? The air is ripped out of the room. Someone in the back actually gasps. Meghan goes still. Absolutely still. No blinking, no shifting, nothing. The only movement is the slight tremor in her hand where it curls over the armrest. That's cruel, she whispers. It's a question, Bill answers. His voice is softer now, but no less sharp. Maybe the one question you've been dodging since all of this started. She swallows, hard. Her eyes glisten, but the tears don't fall. Not yet. When they're old enough, she says slowly, they'll understand why I had to fight. Why being quiet wasn't an option. They'll know I chose their sanity over other people's comfort. And if they don't, he presses. Silence. Heavy, cracking silence. For the first time tonight, Meghan looks genuinely lost. The practiced answers stutter. The narrative falters. If they don't, she finally says, voice shaking, then I'll take that. I'll take their anger. Their confusion. Because I've already taken everyone else's. I can survive theirs too. Something in the audience breaks at that. A few people clap, a few shift, a few look down, suddenly uncomfortable with the voyeurism they paid for. Bill watches her for a long, unedited moment. You know, he says quietly, the thing about playing the victim is that at some point, you start bleeding people who came to help. Her eyes snap up. I'm not playing anything, she spits. He leans in, elbows on his knees now too, mirroring her posture like a confrontation in a mirror. You are incredibly smart, he says. You are media savvy, articulate, charismatic. You've turned pain into opportunity in a way most people couldn't dream of. But when every room becomes a trial, Meghan, every question an attack, every criticism a betrayal, at what point do you admit you're not escaping the system? You're rebuilding it, with you at the center. Her breath quickens. The cameras capture the rise and fall of her chest, the small tremor in her lip. You think that's what this is? She asks. You think I enjoy reliving every trauma so people like you can pick it apart? I think, Bill says, that somewhere along the way, being hurt became your power. And you don't know who you are without the wound anymore. That does it. Something in her snaps. She unclips her mic with shaking fingers. The tiny click echoes in the impossibly quiet room. We're done, she says, rising to her feet. Bill doesn't move. You can walk off, he says calmly, that's your right. But the cameras are still rolling. And silence is its own answer, isn't it? She stands over him now, towering in heels and fury and something else, exhaustion so deep it looks like grief. You invited me here to be honest, she says. You didn't want honesty. You wanted a spectacle. Congratulations. You got it. She turns, strides off set, trailing cable, a producer half chasing her in the shadows, whispering her name. The audience just sits there, stunned into stillness. Bill stays in his chair for a moment, staring at the empty space where she sat. The seconds stretch. Then he turns back to the camera, expression unreadable. People will say she walked out because I pushed too hard, he says. Others will say she proved exactly what they already believed about her. Here's what I know, behind every polished story, there's a mess no one wants to claim. Tonight, you didn't just see Meghan Markle. You saw the mess, hers, mine, ours. He pauses, letting the words hang. If you came here wanting a neat ending, he adds, you picked the wrong lives to watch. The studio lights feel harsher now, the applause sign blinking in red over an audience that doesn't know whether to clap. Some do. Some don't. Most just stare. Later, the clip will explode online, slowed down, dissected, captioned, turned into 100 different truths depending on who's sharing it. Some will say Bill humiliated her. Others will swear she exposed him. But if you listen closely, really listen, past the outrage and edits and thumbnails with shocked faces, you'll hear something quieter threaded through the whole thing. Two people, both convinced they're the only ones who see the machine clearly.
Both feeding it. Both trapped inside it.
And maybe the most unsettling part isn't who stormed off or who won. It's realizing how much of yourself you recognized in both of them.